Hey everybody, welcome to my channel for goodness keepsakes. My name is Pam. Today's tutorial is going to be for this really cute 3D crocheted flower. This was one of my favorite crocheted flowers to make for my wedding bouquet. I absolutely love it. I've also done it where I've just, it's hollow in the middle, so you can actually use this as a button-on flower for accessories, or you can finish off the center like I'll show you in a minute here with this one. I found a similar pattern on Pinterest over 10 years ago, and I know I've made a few modifications to it, but for the most part it's generally the same. But the problem is that the link to the website that pattern was attached to is completely broken. It does not exist anymore, and it's a shame because it's a beautiful pattern. I can't find it anywhere because I'm honestly finding the keywords and stuff to search for this. I'm struggling. So if you know somebody who has this pattern, let me know in the comments. I really don't know where else you can find it. Plus, I had to basically rediscover how to do this on my own because it's been about 8 years since I made this. It took a little bit of finagling for me to remember because it's been so long. And then once I started to do it, I was like, oh, that's right. That's how you do it. I remember now. It's just, it took a while to remember. Without further ado, let me show you how I make this pretty flower. So for the pattern for this flower, we're going to start with a worsted weight yarn in whatever color you want the flower to be. I'm going to use pink. If you're going to finish it off with some yellow like I did here, because I actually think this looks prettier than crocheting the center, you're going to need about like an 18-inch strip of yellow yarn too. Your flower will work up with this hole in the middle, which is actually really nice if you want this to be like a button-on accessory. So you can have a button that just fits through there and you can button this on and the button becomes the center of the flower, or you could literally just glue the button on there or gem or whatever. I'm going to finish this one off like this and show you how I do that. So I've got my worsted weight yarn and I've got a G hook. This particular G hook is a 4mm hook. I think G hooks could also be 4.5 perhaps. I don't know. But you can use a G hook, an H hook, whatever size you want. I like the G hook specifically for this because of the size it makes. So we're going to start with a really basic slip knot. And we're going to chain 5. We're going to slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring. And now we're ready to get started. So what's neat about this pattern is you're actually working each petal individually as you go around. We're going to start with a chain 6. The first 3 chains counts as the first double crochet, and the extra 3 chains counts as a chain 3. And then we're going to double crochet into this ring. Like so. Then we're going to chain 1 turn. We're going to, going into this space, we're going to single crochet, followed by a chain 3 picot. Yeah, I said picot, not picket. Next, we're going to double crochet into that space, followed by a chain 3 picot. And we're going to repeat that with 8 more double crochets, each one topped with a chain 3 picot, all going into this space. So here's this, that's all together you'll have 9 double crochets. So you'll have collectively 10 picots when you're finished working in this space. A single crochet, 9 double crochets, and each of them topped with a chain 3 picot. 10 stitches altogether. I hope that made sense. That sounded really confusing. I have a tendency to overcomplicate things. So this one is where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 4 more stitches. Ooh, the sun got brighter. I got so distracted by the sun I lost count. I gotta do 1 more after this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 10. So 9 double crochets with a chain 3 picot on top of each one. 1, 2, 3. All right. When you're done, it'll look something like this. What you're going to do is reach across and into this single crochet, the top of this single crochet that is your first stitch, that is underneath your first picot. You're going to slip stitch into that single crochet. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. So we're looking at the back side of the flower. We're going to, into this middle ring here, we're going to double crochet. Then we're going to chain 3. This is not a picot, it's just a chain 3. And then we're going to double crochet into that ring again. And now we've got the foundation for our next petal. So chain 1, turn. Now this next petal is going to be the same thing. It's going to be a single crochet and collectively 9 double crochets, making up this petal with a chain 3 picot on top of each one. But where we put them changes a little bit. So it's not going to all just go into this space here. We're going to start working into this space, but they're not all going to go there. So we're going to start with a single crochet and a chain 3 picot, just like before. Helps if I could get in the stitch. Whew. And then we're going to, into this same space, we're going to do 4 double crochets, each with a chain 3 picot on top. So double crochet, chain 3 picot. There's 1. Double crochet, chain 3 picot. Whoopsies. There we go. And that makes 2. Double crochet, chain 3 picot. Makes 3. And double crochet. I need to move my yarn. My yarn keeps getting snagged. And a chain 3 picot. Makes 4. So now we have collectively 5 picots on top, and we're halfway done. We're going to put the remaining stitches into this post of this double crochet here. So when we turned, this is the first double crochet we made, then we did a chain 3 and another double crochet. We're working into this one. So we're going to do a front post double crochet here 5 times with a chain 3 picot on top of each front post double crochet. So front post double crochet. I like to fold everything down and make it so that that post kind of sticks up so I can just work right into there pretty easily. Anyway, so chain 3 picot. See, there's 1. Double crochet. Chain 3 picot. That's 2. Double crochet, chain 3 picot. That's 3. And if you want to see what I'm doing, like if I fold everything back up again, you can see it's going into that post. I'm working in that post. I just fold it down because it makes it easier. So this is the 4th double crochet with a chain 3 picot on top, and 1 more double crochet with a chain 3 picot, and you'll know you're done making these when you have collectively 10 picots going around. Now, just like with the first petal, it's smiling at me, and going into underneath the first picot we made into this single crochet, we're just going to go right in there with a slip stitch. Then chain 1, and look, there's your flower, your next flower petal. Isn't that cool? So we're going to repeat this again 2 more times, and then the last petal will be slightly different. So again, after you've done your chain 1, turn, double crochet into the ring, chain 3, double crochet into the ring again, chain 1, turn, single crochet into that space with a chain 3 picot on top. And then into that same space, we're going to put 4 double crochets, each with a chain 3 picot on top. So this one is 1. There's 2. Here's 3. And 4. And once we've done that 4 double crochets, we have 5 stitches all together. We can start working into this post here. I'm going to do that by folding it down so it sticks up. Makes it a lot easier to work into. So then I'm going to do 5 front post double crochets with a chain 3 picot on top of each one. So there's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. And 5. With a picot. And then again, it's smiling at you. Go over to the first picot, and in the stitch underneath it, that single crochet, right into the top of the single crochet, do a slip stitch. Chain 1, turn. What did you find?
I read a long time ago that meteorites were magnetic.
Uh-huh. You found a magnetic rock?
I'm pretty sure this is a meteorite.
Well, I don't think it's just meteorites that are magnetic, though. I thought there were other magnetic rocks, like hematite.
Huh.
Or is hematite?
I don't know.
I don't know. It might be, but it's black. It might be hematite. I'd hold on to it and ask your daddy. He knows more about rocks than I do.
I found it in my garden.
That's really neat, though. Well, that was interesting. So going back into the ring, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 3, and double crochet again into that center ring, chain 1, turn. Now the front of the flower is facing you. Into this space, we're going to do a single crochet and a chain 3 picot on top. And then 4 double crochets each with a chain 3 picot on top into that space. There's 1. There's 2. Here's 3. And here's 4. When you're done working in the top space, you'll have 5 picots all together. I'm going to fold everything down so I can work into this post here readily, and do 5 front post double crochets with a chain 3 picot on top of each one. So there's 1 double crochet with a chain 3 picot. There's the second one. I know it looks a little confusing probably with me holding it this way, but it really does make it easier to work into that post without struggling so much, because you don't have to hold it that way, but if you hold it like this, you're trying to work into there, and I don't know, it just feels easier when you just turn everything and smoosh everything down out of the way. Whoopsies, I dropped the yarn. So this one's number, what, 4? It's getting kind of squished in here. It does get a little cumbersome as you start to get to the last petals. And then what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. Into that stitch. 1 more front post, double crochet, chain 3, picot. Alrighty. So then hold it like it's smiling at you. Find your first picot over here. Go right into the top of that single crochet and just slip stitch. Almost done. Now we've got one more we're going to do to make this a 5-petal flower. And this one's going to be done a little bit different. So we're going to chain 1, being sure I don't accidentally grab that first picot with my chain, turn. We're still going to do a double crochet into that center ring and our chain 3. 1, 2, 3. But then instead of doing another double crochet into this ring, we're actually going to anchor our chain 3 to this flower here. If you'll look, these are just the backs of the double crochets from the first petal. Just find one that's near the bottom sort of ish, about like right here. I think this is about the 7th picot over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So if you count over, looking at the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's the 7th one right here. You can just do a back post, either single crochet or slip stitch, whichever is more comfortable for you. I usually slip stitch to that back post, chain 1, and turn, and that will anchor your petals all together. Now we're going to work our last petal just as before. So into this space, we're going to single crochet and do a chain 3 picot. Then do 4 double crochets into this space with a chain 3 picot in between each one, which is really on top. In the pattern written, it would be in between. What would the word be? Brain fart. You know what? Structurally, that's it. Gosh, you can see how well my brain works. Structurally, the picot goes on top, but written in pattern format, it would be in between. So we're at 4, so I need 1 more double crochet with a chain 3 picot. 1, 2, 3 picot. All right, and then we're going to be working 5 front post double crochets into this post with a chain 3 picot on top of each one. And like I said, it's easier if you just fold everything down and have that double crochet just sort of sticking up. So you can just work right into it. It really does make it easier. I'm going to keep emphasizing that. So this is number 2 with a chain 3 picot. Almost said picket. I've ruined myself. Here's the 3rd double front post double crochet with a chain 3 picot. 4th double crochet. It's technically a front post double crochet with a chain 3 picot. And the last double crochet with a chain 3 picot. And again, with it smiling at you, but it's kind of hard to see because this side's been joined. But find that first picot. Make sure when you go to join that your yarn doesn't go around this petal, that it goes in between your petals. And slip stitch to join. And then just chain 1, cut and tie. And fish in your tails. I got this string ended up in the front, and he needs to come to the back. Now I've been passively working him in, but he's not fully incorporated. And this is it's a really short string, but that's what's really nice about these finishing needles from Susan Bates, is that I can get even these little short nuggets of string in and just kind of find a spot and jam it in there. Look at that. Whoop. And then you can leave these strings long enough that if you plan to sew this to a project, you can actually just use these tails to kind of sew it in. Or you can fish in the tails and then you could literally just use like fabric glue or hot glue or whatever to attach this to whatever project you want. So there's the flower with the unfinished center if you want to make this a button-on accessory. Isn't that really pretty? It's so pretty. But let me show you how to make the center like this. It's really, really, really simple. As much as I love my finishing needle, for a smoother glide through the yarn, I like to use a metal needle for these kinds of things. And just pinch the end and stuff that tail in there. Go on. Got it. All right. And I'm just going to go from the bottom up so that my tail is hanging down. Just kind of pick a spot Leave myself a long enough tail. If you're going to, again, if you're going to attach this to something, you can leave that long enough to actually attach it with that string too. And I'm going to go straight across on the outside of that center ring and come back down again. And then I'm going to go over just a little bit, back up, making sure I don't snag that, and go straight across and down on the other side. And just keep doing that all the way around. You don't want to pull it too tight. So then we're going over a little bit more. Straight across. I'm trying to think like you're trying to go outside of that ring a bit. And again, not pulling anything too tight. And making sure I don't get my tail all caught up in the stitches. We don't want anything too tight because otherwise it'll pucker and it won't look as nice and full. And then we're just going to go over just a little bit more. Straight across. Over just a little bit more. Straight across. Just go in that gap actually. Over just a little bit more. Trying to get right in there. There we go. And straight across. Look at that. That is pretty. Now when you go to tie this, I still got another foot of yarn. When you go to tie this, make sure your initial knot's not too tight. You don't want to pucker this up a whole bunch. So just kind of loosely, and then tighten it a lot more on that second knot. And look at that. Isn't that pretty? I didn't use as light of yellow on this one as I did on this one. I think the lighter yellow might look nicer, but still. I find when you do like a crocheted circle and then just put that in there, it's just too bulky and takes away, some about it takes away from the daintiness and the like foo-foo-iness of the of the flower. The flower really does seem really just, all those picots really give this like a frilliness. And I love the 3D texture of this. Like I've said before, I don't know who originated this pattern. I might make this pattern available on my blog just because I don't know who made it, and it might not even be the same as when I saw it because I've been making these for a while and I might have changed it. So if you know anybody who has a pattern like this, let me know in the comments, because I want to make sure that anybody who may have contributed to this creation is actually, you know, properly credited, but I have no idea who did this, or, you know, what of it's original, like what of it is original and what of it is something I did, you know. So if you've seen a flower just like this, let me know, because I can't find it to save my life. So that's all there is to it. It's pretty simple, very cute. I absolutely love the 3D effect of this flower. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you have any questions, or if I didn't do anything right, I know my camera tends to go off and I'm so bad at that. I am so bad at that. So if you have any questions, any issues, like put them in the comments below. Hit subscribe if you'd like to see more content, and have a blessed day. Woo!